Now it's time to wake up. Kincaid and Sal Tunis is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincaid and Andrew Saltunis. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Yes, we are here on this Monday morning. A Monday morning where we get to say, for the first time in about 6 weeks, Johnny, your Philadelphia Phillies are above 500. Phillies complete the sweep of the Pirates yesterday, 6-0. Beating up Paul Skeens of all people. They sweep Pittsburgh and are now 24-23. They had not been above 500 since after they lost to the Giants on April 7th, which made them fall to 6-5. They were 6-6 the next day, and then they went downhill. And now
everything went downhill from
24-23, Johnny.
That's a beautiful day. You had asked, could they do it? They did it.
They did it.
They did it. I said the minute the final out went, I sent you the tweet the other night. I was like, you asked, could they do it? They did it. They did it. It's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
What the Phillies did is historic. 21 seasons has a team lost 6 series in a row and won 6 series in a row.
No way, really?
In the same season. Okay, 21 baseball seasons. So we're talking a generation. That's a generation.
Yeah.
Has a team lost 6 series in a row in the course of a whole season. And then in the same season, won 6 series in a row.
Unbelievable.
And the Phillies did it. Do you know who the hitting coach was for that team that did that 21 years ago?
Donnie Baseball.
Yes. Don Mattingly.
His magical hands.
How about that?
You got to start playing the music early, man.
You got to.
Magic Mattingly.
Yeah.
John Kincaid's love affair.
How about just that wake up song? You know, that's just wake up. Will we start the show with? That sort of is what Don Mattingly does to a baseball team. He tells everybody that.
Did Rob Thompson play lullabies? Didn't
Dusty
Watson manage this weekend?
Yes. I think he did. I think Rob Thompson did. I think he must have. It must have been a absolute lullaby because this team is better in everything. Everything since Don Mattingly's taken over. I mean, all the little things, they're better.
Except Aaron Nola.
They're just better. No, I'm not talking about an individual. Okay. I said this team is better. There's no measurable. You're going like, well, they're not as good as this under Rob Thompson. Look, Rob had served his purpose. He served his purpose. He did great in 2022, taking over for Girardi. But he had fallen asleep. The man had fallen asleep.
A change needed to happen. And they did that. And then they dug out of this hole. Look, when going back to the day they moved on from Rob Thompson, we were talking about the schedule and how it opened up. Ricky Bo comes in here and goes, by the way, I'm not surprised they did it now because the schedule lightens up a little bit. Bottom line is they were losing to those teams before the firing of Rob Thompson. That is correct. Right? Like,
yes, let's not forget that.
They dropped 2 of 3 to the San Francisco Giants when Rob Thompson was still the manager. They were losing games in embarrassing ways to the Washington Nationals. So spare me the schedule. And look, I'm somebody that pointed out the schedule, but you got to win baseball games. And ever since Don Mattingly has taken over, they take care of business sweeping the Giants. They take 3 of 4 against the Marlins. They take 2 of 3 against the A's. They take 2 of 3 against the Rockies. They take 2 of 3 against the Red Sox, and then a sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So the Mattingly sandwich has been 2 sweeps and then 4 series wins in the middle. It's nice. It's nice. Kevin Stocker with a great explanation, too, of what Don Mattingly does. And Don Mattingly, every single day, works with every single infielder individually. So, like, one day it'll be Harper. One day it'll be Bohm. One day it'll be. So it's not every one of them every day, but it's an individual session on here's what I want you to do. Here's what you're not doing correctly. Here's what we could do better. They do base running. They do base running drill and they do base running instruction as far as before every single series as far as part of the scouting.
Yeah,
it's just interesting, the amount of detail.
It almost looks like they had to be reschooled or recoached on how to play the sport of baseball. Like,
you know why? You know why? Because the manager that they had before, he sat there behind a microphone and goes, did you say anything to Bryce Harper about that? No. Bryce Harper knows what he did wrong. When people are doing crap wrong at work, and you assume that they know that it's wrong.
Right.
And then you don't correct them, and you don't hold them accountable. They keep doing it over and over again. When you bring someone else in, oh, by the way, a baseball Hall of Famer, and you bring him in and you say, okay, you're going to take over now. Somebody like that, you bring him in, things change. Accountability changes. Responsibilities change.
I think accountability also changed where they realized they got a guy fired. I think that's part of it.
It mattered to some of them. Others, they didn't even take responsibility for it. That's one thing. I'll get on JT for stuff. JT took responsibility for it.
Schwarber took responsibility for it.
Harper didn't.
Harper was the only guy.
Harper didn't. No, there were other guys that didn't either.
We were waiting for this.
Harper didn't.
That was an insane thing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So the Phils get the win. So our question for you at 610-632-0975 is whether or not your Phillies' attention is back. And attention for all the right reasons. Like, I'll be honest, I kept on watching when they were 9-19 because it was that car wreck.
So we have to.
Yeah, I know.
We do
I get
our
it.
job.
But look, there was Sixers and Flyers were both in the playoffs at the time. I could have very easily said back burner.
Yes.
I'll read up on the Phillies tomorrow morning before the show.
And you love the NBA playoffs a lot, so.
But the car wreck was so I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was so bad, and the way they were losing each game, it was either the bats were dead, horrific fielding, bullpen implosions. There was just one thing after another, and so much has changed. And now they're above 500. So is your Phillies' attention back for the right reasons? I'm not saying fandom, attention, where you're putting the games on almost every single night. You're not watching just for how bad can this get. You're watching for all the right reasons. Are you starting to believe that this good club can now get back to being a competitive club? It's one thing to be good. It's another thing to be competitive. They were not competitive despite the roster being the exact same way. So let us know. 610-632-0975. Is your Phillies' attention back? Now, Connor Thomas is back after his trip in Boston.
What's up, boys?
Hope you had a great time. You looked
loved
horrible on the
TV?
on the broadcast.
It was cold, man.
Yeah, you looked extremely uncomfortable and miserable. Not even the Fenway Magic seemed to put a smile on your face.
Hey, listen, they won the ball game. Kyle Schwarber put a smile on my face.
Damn
He's been
right.
doing that a lot recently.
Damn right he did. Well, you missed Friday, so let's go through it. Tennessee is week Commanders week 1, W or L?
That's a W.
All right, Commanders week 2.
Yeah, that's a W.
So John Kincaid said something on Friday that I said, okay, I need to save this. Because on Friday was not only reaction to the schedule, but it was also the day after the Bob Myers and Josh Harris press conference. So there was a lot of moving parts going on.
A lot of moving parts.
Connor, we have 2024 John Kincaid again.
Oh, let's go, Johnny. I like it.
He has not said put it in Sharpie yet. Plans NFC Championship weekend.
But I'm very close.
But, dude, he was oozing confidence on Friday. And we didn't really have enough time to really open this conversation up. But I'm curious, Johnny, same number, 610-632-0975. Confidence level after seeing the Eagles' schedule. Go ahead, John. I want you to speak to Connor. I heard it on Friday. Some of our audience may not have heard it on Friday. Maybe they weren't listening. But I know Connor wasn't listening, I hope.
Connor, I have every bit of confidence. I'm going to tell you that not almost. I have as much confidence looking at just how things lay out for the 2026 Eagles as I did going into the 2024 season when I told you that you had plans for NFC Championship weekend to host a pregame show. Connor, January 31st, pull out your phone, put it on your calendar. You have plans to host a pregame show on January 31st for the NFC Championship.
Oh, you went one step further because you weren't there yet Friday.
I'm there.
I'm available that day.
Okay, you are available that day.
Yeah.
By the way, the game is 6:30 on January 31st. The Philadelphia Eagles will be in that game. That is as far as I will take it.
Okay.
Because I do not know how the rest of the NFC plays out as far as who their top competition will be. I do not know who the AFC competitor will be to say, guaranteed they're a Super Bowl champion. The Eagles will be playing on January 31st at 6:30 in the NFC Championship game.
I love that.
Put it on your calendar. So, Connor, I guess pregame from 3 to 6?
I'd imagine so.
I don't know if it'll be here, though. I can't tell you that yet.
Could be a patty wax. Could be a patty wax again. Let's run it back.
Could be. I don't know what it'll be, but there will be it's 6:30 p.m., and I have secured that over the weekend. It is the 6:30 slot. They will play January 31st, and hopefully we will have plans on Valentine's Day.
That'd be nice.
For a Super Bowl 61 appearance.
I'm sure my wife will be thrilled.
Yes, which is in?
I don't know. Where is it?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. That's a nice spot. That's right. We were talking about, that'd be tough to do morning show out there.
Los Angeles.
So I love your confidence. I don't feel it this time.
So how far would you go?
I think
I've taken it to. I feel confidence where I'm going. I will take it to the NFC Championship game. I am confident the Eagles are playing January 31st. The next weekend before that is January 24th, the divisional playoff weekend. Are you confident the Eagles will advance further than last year?
Yes.
Well, then you take it to there. I don't think that's bad.
Last year, they were dead last year. Connor, it randomly came up on Friday, this scenario where they rested the starters week 18 and
it blew it for them.
John was popping off. I was like, I don't even know if they beat the Packers. Like the Eagles were dead. And so were the Packers. So anything could have happened. But the Eagles were dead at that point. I don't think this time around we're going to be talking about the dead Eagles. 0% chance, right? That's what I was saying that in freaking November last year. 0% chance that they were going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think we'll be having that same tone, that same conversation. I don't feel that same. When you said it 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm with you. I was with you. You were the one that was leading the charge. I was with you. I'm not there right now. I got to see how this offense looks for 5 minutes before I start talking NFC Championship game.
Well, we'll have more on that in the course of the show today.
Sure.
But I don't need it. I don't need it at all. I think that this team is not only supremely talented, I think they've gotten one of the me guys out of the locker room. And I think you're going to be surprised at how, team actually matters. And I think it's going to work well.
And look, if Mekhi Lemon is the stud that a lot of people think he's going to be, then you might not miss a beat. If he's not, you could talk about me guys all you want. That's still 1,000 yards that you just kind of lose. Like, he had 1,000 yards in a bad year last year.
Oh, he did.
You know what I mean?
But the thing is, though, is that you're not losing. Here's the thing is, let's say Mekhi Lemon can. Would you feel comfortable saying Mekhi Lemon 500 to 600 yards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the aggregate.
Then you're talking about 400 yards being spread amongst now number one receiver, Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert maybe getting some more.
Mm-hmm.
A young tight end that you've just brought in, getting some. I mean, you're talking about, and then
Dontavian Wicks, who they're very high on.
So to me, I don't see any problem going, what are we doing with 1,000 yards? More importantly, I know that there's not going to be a guy who, when the team is 4-0, is going to be bitching about the fact that they didn't get theirs enough, and they're upset about theirs, so they're going to be going to their Instagram page to put out cryptic posts because they're bitching about their personal goals and agendas. Because I know this, Jalen Hurts doesn't do that. Devontae Smith doesn't do that. Dallas Goedert doesn't do that. Saquon Barkley doesn't do that. I have a feeling the breath of fresh air will be team matters, not those two initials that will now be living in New England. Those initials.
I thought he wasn't getting traded.
Which should be
fake news.
Which should be me. His initials should be ME, but they are actually AJ.
So, Connor, when you hear that level of confidence, I don't feel. I'm sorry, John. I would love to be like arm in arm.
Well, you're only 1 week behind me. It's not like it's not like you're confident.
You're like losing confidence. I'm like I don't feel that.
I'm confident they're in the Final Four. You're confident they're in the Final 8. I think that's where our poll question is going to have to go today. Are you confident? Last year, the Eagles they didn't make it to the Final 8.
No, they were.
So where do you see it? Where do you see it falling? I mean, to me, Are you confident they make the Final Eight? Are you confident they make the Final Four? I think it's too early for people to say they make the Final Two.
The Final two? Why not?
But
Screw it. Go Birds.
Yeah, it's a little.
EAGLES.
Final
You
one.
heard that
Super
this
Bowl.
week.
I heard it a lot yesterday out at Aronimink.
JM on our YouTube chat. I went into 2024 thinking Jalen was going to throw for 4,300 yards and execute a great pass game. I learned my lesson. There's no all Madden line this year to fall back on. We'll go as far as our great defense will go, but our below average offense will take us. So maybe divisional round if we avoid the Rams and Niners.
Wow.
I don't. Oh, man, the offensive conversation's a great one. He says below average, which last year they were. Statistically, they were. Like, it once you ignore the names, last year they were a below average offense. This year is going to be really interesting, man. Like, as we continue to go further into this offseason and we get closer to the start of the next season, like the Jalen Hurts conversations are going to be fascinating to see where people are at because Kevin Patullo sucked last year. There was worries about Patullo going into it, and it played out horribly. But the offensive line being so banged up, who are they this year? Like, there's so many conversations that we're going to have leading up to it. And you are this confident right
yes.
now. I mean, I love it for you. It's great.
I'm really this confident, and I'm more confident at the fact that I'm just saying to you is that we are talking about a team that now is going to be a team. That's what I'm confident about.
So A.J. Brown being traded is confirmation the Eagles are going to the NFC Championship.
No, I already think that they're a supremely talented team that highly underachieved last year because they had incompetent coaching. That I was being told by people to chill out about all summer. Oh, my gosh. You're so worried about Patullo. Look how talented they are. They're the Super Bowl champs. And, yes, I kept saying it over and over. Yes, I'm worried about Kevin Patullo because he's a buffoon. He was a buffoon, and they gave him the job. I was worried about it. I'm not worried.
He helped build the Eagles Super Bowl, though.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. He is doing the victory tour. I got buddies of mine down there at QA. He's very positive. He's talking a lot.
In case people don't know, Ken Patullo
talking a lot.
Works with the Dolphins. I don't even know what his official title is.
Is he a pass game coordinator?
Something like that. And he was asked about what he did with the Eagles, and he took a lot of credit.
He was there for the building.
He took a lot of credit
Connor,
for that Eagles team.
Building from the beginning. I was building it from the ground up. Like we were building it from the ground up. I was there for it all.
Yeah,
you were there.
I signed the final paper once without doing any work.
Who had the Egg McMuffin? Who had the McGriddle? Who? Two creams? Or 3 creams.
Yeah, but look, Nick Sirianni would back that up.
Yeah, his boy.
That's why he wanted him to be the offensive coordinator.
His boy. You know what? There are people in life that you will know that take people who very kindly take people along for the ride with them. They say, when I get there. Michael Vick is the biggest example of this I've ever known. Someone who said, when I make it, I'm going to take you along. And he did it to his detriment. Michael had people that he just literally had on his payroll that he took along for the ride of his life. He accomplished everything, and these people had no jobs, nothing. They just lived off of Michael, and he thought he was being kind to them, to take care of them, and to say, I'm going to share my love, my wealth with you, everything. And it ended up bringing him down and sending him to federal prison. It's the same thing that Nick Sirianni did, but he brought our franchise down by giving the keys to Kevin Patullo, which was stupid.
Hopefully it bounces back this year. So Phillies and Eagles on the table at 610-632-0975. Phillies-related question, did they get your attention back? All right? Not did they get your hopes of a World Series back or your expectations of a World Series back? Just did they get your attention back? Because if anybody shut them off at 9-19, I don't blame you because I think they shut themselves off at 9-19, and that's why they needed a managerial change just to wake up. And here we are now on May 18th. They're about to begin another series with the Reds, and they're finally back above 500 for the first time since April 7th, 24-23. Is your Phillies attention back? And our Eagles-related question, does anybody have the same level of confidence that John Kincaid has? I mean, John Kincaid looked at this schedule Friday, almost went 13-4, even though he's anti-W's and L's.
And by the way, I may change that. I may change it. Like I may go to 13-4. I feel that good.
May go 13-4.
May feel that
and
good.
is under the impression that January 31st.
No, it's January 31st. Connor's got a pregame show. It's on the calendar. Put it on the calendar.
That's the NFC Championship game, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have this same level of confidence as John Kay? I don't, but I believe they win the division, and they're not going to get embarrassed in a first-round playoff matchup like they did against San Francisco. Not embarrassed. They just look dead. I wouldn't say that was an embarrassing loss. It was just same old, same old. The way they lost the game against San Francisco was the way they lost like the last 5 games.
Sure.
Hopefully that's not the case this time around. All right, 610-632-0975. Number you can climb in. Davis Honda text line. Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. You can leave voice memos. You can call in as well. Also, coming up next, we have multiple fandom-related questions today, like 1 an hour that will open up to try to get some more conversation going. The first one involves a chant, and I think you know which chant I'm talking about, especially if you watched 5 seconds of the PGA Championship in Philadelphia this weekend. That comes your way next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Now back to Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
This hour of Kincaid and Salchunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:30 on this Monday morning here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Monday after the Phillies complete a sweep of the Pirates and are now 24-23, above 500 for the first time since April 7th. Eagles schedule release Thursday night, reaction Friday morning, and John Kincaid was talking about the NFC Championship game, and he has already penciled it in.
January 31st.
Is it pencil? Is it Sharpie? Is it stenciled in somewhere?
This is the official. If Sharpie ever wanted to advertise with us, the Sharpie Fine Point. Always get these from Santa Claus every year. A little big pack of these babies.
Oh, ho, ho.
It is. Love the Sharpie Fine Point. Yes, it is Sharpied, which means it is, that's in. Connor cannot make plans that day. He's got a pregame show because the Eagles will be in the NFC Championship game.
So
I'm not going. I'm the only reason I'm not going further than that is I do want to see a little bit more, but I know where they're going to be at. And the reason part again that I feel this way.
I mean, you're saying that's the only reason why I'm only going that far is because I want to see more. You're saying because the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, because I feel it. And when I did this a couple years ago, people did treat me like I was nuts.
Oh, yeah, you got a pom-pom shaker already.
And they won the Super Bowl that year. So what I would tell you is you can take a sock and you can stuff it in your big fat mouth.
So MBD.
That's what I would say to you, is because you said the same thing to me 2 years ago when I said this to you, and you went, oh, no, pom-pom shaker, Eagles fan. And the Eagles won the freaking Super Bowl.
Well, that was 2 years ago. You could be going senile.
So what I'm going to suggest is that this time you put your listening ears on and you listen. Now, look, I'm not predicting the last 2 wins. They still would have to win an NFC title game and win a Super Bowl. But they're going to be in the NFC Championship game.
MBD would like you to answer a question on our YouTube channel.
I would be glad to because NBD is a good fan.
Says, I have no idea how John could be so confident. Half of the offensive line was blood doping this offseason.
They were not blood doping.
He says, look, I'm not trying to be negative, but just law of averages. We're kind of due for a horrific injury season, aren't we?
Well, first off, that's not what the law of averages says. So that is not as a study of statistics and fan of it, that is not what the law of averages says. If the law of averages says the Patriots and the Chiefs and everything wouldn't have had dynasties, so that's not true what the law of averages says. The Eagles had their injury season last year. The Eagles were ravaged by injuries last year.
Played through it.
I'm not in the least bit. And also, I can't predict injuries. Now, injuries could, crazy injuries could derail this. I'm actually of the belief I'm thinking it'll be a much happier season for us.
That would be nice. Well, I already expect it just because of the offense.
Healthier, happier.
Probably won't be less happy.
Yeah,
you got to imagine.
But
right?
NBD, I understand where NBD's coming from, and he's an intelligent fan. So you very rational thought most of the time. But again, for those of you who are going to poo-poo it, I told you 2 years ago, and I guarantee you the same keyboard warriors that will poo-poo it are the same ones who poo-pooed it 2 years ago, and then at the end they were probably at the parade. So I hope they enjoyed my insights.
I'm with you, but I'll poo-poo it right now.
Okay.
Like, I think 90% of this fan base, if Sean Mannion walked by them on the street, they wouldn't know who the guy was.
That's understandable.
And it's tough to take that. Like Kellen Moore, at least when he came in here, had a track record in that position of success.
Right.
Like, we're going off of what we've heard on Sean Mannion. Like, I want to see it before I'm talking about NFC Championship
I
game.
don't think that is Connor. I don't even see that as you poo-pooing it.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that's poo-pooing it.
Then cancel the poo-poo.
I think that's very reasonable. Like, that's very reasonable.
Look,
That's a very reasonable reason. What I would tell you is, and I'm going to make this case as in the course of the show today, there are reasons for doubt for every single team and every single contender.
Sure.
And what I also believe is the Eagles have a far easier path
That's fair.
than not only in their schedule, but their division than other teams have. I think the NFC West is going to be more of a cannibalization, which is going to make them have a harder path. I think the NFC North is going to be a cannibalization where they have to, sort of pick on each other more.
I do believe each team in the NFC East will be better this year, though.
I do believe that, too.
And I don't mean like by a game. Like, I think each team's going to be.
Wow.
I don't think. Remember last year, my big.
How much better?
My
You talking?
big confident, statement last year was that the Eagles would win the NFC East with ease. Like that, the last couple of weeks, we wouldn't be saying, "All right, man, they really got to win this one. They got to win this one." They won it by what? 3 games last year, or was it 2 games last year?
I don't think did they win it that easy?
The rest of week 18, it had to be relative.
Yeah,
it was
games.
the end, but week 17 and week 18 were sort of a joke.
Yeah, no, they were 11-6. The
Because
Cowboys
of the
were
Cowboys.
7-9-1 in second place. So that was my bold prediction was they win the NFC East with ease last year. They did that. I don't think it's going to be like that this year.
And I don't think that's
I think week 17, week 18, we're talking about.
I told you, I believe the last week of the season they will be playing for something. Mm-hmm. When we did that the other day, Connor, I said last week of the year is going to mean something. And hopefully this year, Nick Sirianni understands that the last week of the season, when it means something, you actually play. You actually pay attention. And you play for it. But then again, everybody can learn from their mistakes, and they can learn.
They weren't winning squad.
So maybe they can learn. Yeah, they were going to beat the Green Bay freaking Packers. Yes, they were.
Still say
who
that.
were horrendous.
You say that as confidently as
Who
you're
were
saying
awful.
that they're going to the NFC Championship game this year.
I do.
Connor, do we have any immediate reactions on the Davis Honda text line? And then we got to talk about Eagles fandom, and we have 4 fandom-related questions to get into today. What do we got?
Not sure where people are on the Eagles yet, but we do have a check-in on our Phillies conversation from earlier.
Good.
Mark in Hatboro says, I'm very upset at the Phillies right now, just for the simple fact they had to wait to get a manager fired, and they could have been playing this good of baseball all along, and now they just decided to turn it on. Like, you've been good this whole time, and what, you just didn't feel like showing it?
It's why they should have made changes after last season.
That's why good club was so stupid.
Yeah.
We got a good club.
Like, they do have talent on the roster. Nobody's denying that. Even as down as I was this offseason, 92 wins. I thought they'd win the NL East. Let's see if they can still do that. But it's just about the big picture, which is the World Series. When you go into – dude, I talked about Johnny. We had a whole show on it. When John Middleton – was talking about that guy, Harry Callis. The one that bothered me from a baseball standpoint was when he dropped the same messaging that Dombrowski dropped in October about we were 1 throw away, 1 pitch away, 1 hit away. And he was saying that the week of opening day. That's not a great message to hear from your owner. Not just manager or assistant manager or bullpen coach. The owner of the team was content. And when that's the message coming on down, I hated that.
Rob Thompson should have been gone after that Dodgers series.
He had a really bad season.
He was atrocious in the Dodgers series. He should have been gone.
A lot of the roster should have been different.
Yes, they decided to play it content. They decided to go, oh no, just stick with what we got, and we got a good club, and it showed. The team needed a shakeup. Now they got the shakeup. They're still very talented. We all picked them to make the playoffs this year. We all knew they have the talent. Now it's a question of how far can they dig out and what happens. And a week from today, I will enjoy Memorial Day, and hopefully, if it's not too rainy, I'll hit the pool, and I'll check the standings. And I'll see where it all shakes out. But I'll also see that this Phillies team is perfectly stabilized now, so they'll be fine.
All right. Fandom question number 1. Davis on a text line, voice memos, phone call, 610-632-0975. YouTube, as always, as well. The PGA Championship at Aronimink yesterday finished. You were at the final round.
It was fantastic.
Looked at your picture, looked great. The spot that you got the 18th.
Well, we were at 18, but we bounced around a lot. And the thing was, it was amazing. They did. I've been to a lot of majors. I've been to a lot of Masters. I've been to a lot of things. That was the best job I have ever seen for a major championship. The Masters is a zoo,
right?
Like is a zoo. It was as great a job as I've ever seen. Everybody out at Aronimink. I don't pronounce the second N because I'm from Delco. Everybody out there did a spectacular job. They should be so proud of themselves because it was a show. And the golfers were thrilled. They had a wonderful time and really enjoyed it. And you could get right up on the practice where they're practice putting. You could get right up on the areas of the golfers. I couldn't believe the access that people got. And they were having a great time. They loved the fans. They loved the interactions. It was a really, really great week and a shining star for Newtown Square.
Beautiful.
It was great.
Now, one of the big takeaways from the tournament was how great the environment was, the Philadelphia environment. Obviously, there's people from all over the world.
There were.
Coming to this, right? It wasn't just, let's go to Wawa and then go to the Mink afterward. Like, no, it was people from all over the world were there. But there were Eagles chants constantly flowing throughout the course of the weekend, like nonstop, especially when people – I did not know that Scotty Scheffler was a Cowboys fan.
You didn't know he was from Dallas? Well, he's from Dallas.
Texas. So when it happened day one, I think a lot of people were like, oh, wait, Scotty's a Cowboys fan?
And it was.
So now we're going to do it every freaking hole that he golfs.
Scotty went from 4th green to 5th tee box and yesterday, and I was there as he passed through. And Scotty had he handled it. My buddy Mark was with me. He handled it with such, he was laughing. He was actually having fun with it.
Which he doesn't have fun playing golf.
Because people are walking, as he's walking through, going, hey, get ready to take that L on Thanksgiving, Scotty.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he literally looks at the guy and just goes like this, and he shakes his head, and he sort of laughs. He usually ignores the fans.
Right.
He usually ignores fans.
There was something about the environment,
He was actually having fun.
And it wasn't in case people don't know what the waste management, tournament is.
Which is awesome, by the way.
It's a drink fest.
I've been twice. It was awesome.
When people hit hole-in-ones, everyone sprays beer everywhere. It's not
It's awesome.
what you think of as a golf environment, which is great because I'm not a big golfer. It was really cool to see Philadelphia center stage in a different world that we're not used to in the world of golf. But, of course, there are people that will always find a problem with something. And there were people that had a problem.
The fun police were out.
With the over-chant. Not the fact that they did it, the over-chant. So coming up next, we'll discuss this a little bit more. But fandom question number 1 of 4 that we have today. Can you overdo the Eagles chant? 610-632-0975. I will say it felt forced at times yesterday. It did feel forced at times.
Hold that.
We'll discuss it coming up next.
Being there, I'm anxious to hear why you say that.
It is Kincaid and Salchunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. If you want to see their wonderful faces, check out youtube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincaid and Salchunas coming your way now.
It is 6:48 here on Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, fandom question number 1 of 4 today. Random Fandom Monday. How about that?
Did you just come up with that?
Yes, I did.
Random Fandom.
Random Fandom Monday.
Random Fandom.
Before we get back to the text line. So the chants, the Eagles chant, E-A-G, happened over and over and over and over and over again this weekend.
They did
at the golf course, Aronimink, and it was great. It was I thought it was really fun. But it got to a point, I will say, on Sunday when I was watching a little bit, I was like, all right.
Don't tell me you're doing a Jason Dumas.
No, I'm not doing that. It was just, it felt forced after a while. Like, we've been on road trips with Philly sports trips. Right?
We have been.
The Eagles chant when you're on the road is the rallying cry. You know what I mean? Just as much as Go Birds is.
Okay.
But, like, we weren't on the road. This was our backyard.
Correct.
And, like, okay, so there's a bunch of Eagles fans
Welcome to our backyard.
Yeah.
Welcome America to our backyard. And honestly, it was my backyard because that's
right.
where I grew up. It's like the world came to pretty much my backyard where I grew up. I went to grade school at St. Anastasia. I mean, it's way great. I live, like, I think as the crow flies, probably 4 miles from Aronimink. I mean, I the world came back there.
Did you
I
chime
say to you,
in?
Occasionally.
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 Because after a while, you're like, I'm not going to do it.
No, that wasn't it. It wasn't like a conscious decision of me not to. It's just that I'm not, I was more into the golf. Like,
sure.
I was there to watch the golf more than I was to that. But the problem I have with it is people having a problem with it.
Yeah, like,
and
that's what I don't get.
I went after Jason Dumas last night from Channel 6
I saw it.
on social media. He's lecturing the Philly fans. By the way, this is the same man who was trying to tell us that, remember when he was out in California, that Sixer fans were planning a protest out at the Sixers facility because of the whole Ben Simmons stuff,
saga,
which was absolutely a false story, completely false. And I had a big diatribe with Jason at the time about that because it was a completely false story that was being fed by Clutch Sports. Jason, especially at Channel 6, don't lecture the Philly fans. Don't lecture them about what they need to do and how they need to be and how they need to conduct themselves. The world was in our backyard, and he's saying, Philly, you're it's sort of making a joke of it now. Bull crap. The world took notice. The players loved it. They loved it. They loved the interaction. If you went to the practice greens and you watched the players, if you watched them as they walked from hole to hole and they interacted with the fans, they loved the interaction with the Philly fans. If you listened to them talk about what they felt about the event, they loved being here. They loved the energy of Philly golf. They said it's a different energy here.
Yes, they did.
So you know what I say to you people who say, it's too much. This is too much. I want a more stately golf. Shut up. Like, just stop. Just stop. It's unique. It's different. If you want Bushwood, Bushwood, we don't do that here at Bushwood. If you want to be a stodgy old golf fan, go be it.
So
but,
here's,
you know what I mean. But it's just so tired.
So this would be my response to Jason, because look, there were points where it's like, all right, I get it, another Eagles fan, but I would rather hear EAGLES. Now, look, I'm an Eagles fan, so
sure.
It's a little bit different. I'd rather hear that than the get in the hole.
Get in the hole
after every
by the way,
swing. You know what I mean?
You hear that at every golf.
Right.
You hear it at every stupid golf tournament.
Like, so that's why, like, for anybody that has a problem with the Eagles chant, I see some people in our YouTube chat that said, yeah, it was over the top yesterday. I get it. But I'd be hearing get in the hole 18 holes out of a round for how many golfers were on the final day? Like, you hear it over and over again. Get in the hole. Like, that to me, I'd rather hear EAGLES than that.
And more importantly, I hear that. We got people in our YouTube chat that feel that way. The players who are in the tournament are not saying that. So if you on your couch are bothered by it, so be it. Your vote's counted. Your vote is counted. The players did not feel that way. They loved the event. They loved the energy of the Philly fans. They loved that it was a looser atmosphere.
Yeah.
They enjoyed Philadelphia very, very much. To a man, they talked about more Philly golf. We should have more stops in Philly on the tour. They enjoyed it very much. Had a chance to catch up with Stanford Steve yesterday from ESPN with Scott Van Pelt. They were like, the Philly energy is just different. Part of it is we are who we are. We're a little louder. We're a little brasher. We're a little self-congratulatory with the Eagles chants and things like that. So be it. It's who we are. Don't be something different than you are.
Connor, your thoughts on the constant Eagles chants at the PGA Championship in Philadelphia this weekend?
Hell yeah, there weren't enough. Like I heard them at Fenway. It's everywhere. Everywhere anyone goes, if you have something in our area that's sports related, you're going to hear it. Here's the thing: we went for so long without a Super Bowl and being the much maligned punching bag of no rings. Listen. You got a great team. It's a great time to be an Eagles fan, and the more you want to celebrate that, the better for me.
We're owning it right now. What do we have on the text line? Because I know that it's fandom number 1. We have 4 fandom questions. Do we have anything on the Eagles chant just yet on the Davis Honda text line?
Yeah. Bob and Dub C checks in and says, bring up the Delco meeting, the PGA Tour. I'm not sure if everybody was ready for that, but I love the way that the event went and how we handled it as fans.
Yeah, again,
it was fantastic.
The players, to John's point, the players loved it.
The players
loved it.
So, I can hear, look, all the Karens that want to complain, male or female, oh, I don't like these Eagles chants. It's so over the top. You've obviously never been to PGA events. I've been to a ton, whether they're majors or otherwise. Get in the hole.
I know, it's annoying. Honestly, that's annoying as hell.
The players don't like that crap. The players enjoyed this event so much.
Especially when they scream "get in the hole," when the guy shanks it 500 feet to the left and you have some knucklehead screaming "get in the hole." I'd rather hear Eagles chants.
There was one where yesterday a gentleman made I forget who it was because I don't know the golfer well. He made on 5. No. Guy made a putt on 5, and he makes the putt, and we're near the 5th green. And he says, someone in the crowd, when he gets done the putt, says, I've been here all week, and that is the best putt I've seen all week. And the golfer turns, and he looks at him, and he goes, thank you.
That's
thank
awesome.
You. And he goes, thank you very much.
That's great.
He said, thank you very much.
Awesome.
But the guy goes, that's the best putt I've seen all week. And he goes, thank you very much. And it was just really neat. But he laughed because it was like, okay, this doesn't happen at normal golf tournaments.
It doesn't.
But in Philly, it does. So all the Karens, and most of the golf Karens are people who aren't even golfing.
All right, coming up next, we check the poll of the day, brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. 4 hours strong, just like your chants were 4 hours strong yesterday. Well, more than 4 hours.
Oh, they were.
Coming up next, more Phillies talk, too, because they're back above 500 for the first time since April 7th. But, Johnny, one analyst says not to make your dreams too big. Why? It's Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.